Well, I'm just getting packed up and ready to head out for the Yukon Arctic Ultra. All the training's done and just sort of tinkering with the kit, make sure I have everything, and fly out first thing tomorrow morning. We've got a fairly extensive list of mandatory gear that we have to have for the race. Just for survival purposes, just safety, just to make sure that that we're going to be okay and get through because the temperatures could be pretty cold. Of the mandatory gear, some of the things we have to carry include headlamp. Of course, we're going to be running a lot after dark, so I'll be using the Petzl Neo, and I'll have a backup battery as well because you go through batteries a little bit quicker in the cold weather. Also have a Petzl E-light that I'll carry just as a backup to my backup, just in case I need a little bit more light. Some of the other things that we need, obviously we want to have extra clothing. We don't know what the temperatures are going to be like, so we need to put on more layers if needed, and take off any wet layers, but the whole idea is that you don't want to sweat during the race, so that's a big problem if you do. Sleeping bag, you have to have a sleeping bag that's rated down to minus 35. I've got a model that's rated down to minus 30, but I'm using a heat shield on top of that, so they approved the extra temperature, or the extra rating for that last year, so I'll be doing the same for this year. With additional clothing, I have to have a down jacket. If you need to stop for any period of time, I won't hesitate to put that on. Down pants as well, same thing. For feet, if I need to stop, I've got some warm booties that I'll put on instead of just my regular trail running shoes. If you do run across any open water, any overflows, then it may have to slip on the overshoes that are waterproof, and you just don't want your feet to get wet. So I'll have those along, but didn't need them last year, but you just never know what the conditions are going to be from year to year. Need to either carry a tent or a bivy bag. I'm carrying a small bivy. Once again, if you need to hunker down and take a bit of a break, it could be a few hours before anybody is able to get out on the course to pick you up if you do run into any problems. So you need to be able to stay warm and take care of yourself. Also need to have a sleeping pad. I'll be folding that down a little bit smaller than that, but just to give you a little bit more insulation instead of to stay warm on the trail. Need to have a stove. I haven't decided which type of stove I'm going to use yet, whether it'll be a gas stove or a butane propane type stove. It depends on the temperature which I'll go with, but because some will work better than others depending on the conditions. You also need a pot to be able to melt any snow if you need to have extra water. So a pot with I've got a titanium spork that I'll take with it as well, so I can eat any hot meals if I need to stop again, but hopefully won't need to be stopped for too long. For hydration, I'll be using a hydration pack underneath my jacket. You don't want to wear it over top because the water will freeze up, so I'll be wearing that underneath my jacket. Got an insulated hose, just really important when you take a drink of water to blow the water back out of the hose so it doesn't freeze up. So it's one of those things you always want to try to remember to do, but it's easy to forget. I'll have some backup water that I'll take in a couple of thermoses. I can also refill at a couple of the aid stations. There's an aid station at 26 miles and at 59 miles. Those are the only two aid stations on the course. But I can get some hot water at those stations, so that will be a nice treat to warm up your insides a bit. If the snow conditions are deep, I may need to wear snowshoes, the running snowshoes. But I'm hoping that we don't need to, because you can move a little bit quicker on the trail without the snowshoes. But if there's any question, I'll definitely throw them in my sled bag. They're only a pound each, so they're very lightweight. So any question at all, they need to come with me. Also take the, if I don't need snowshoes, but need a little bit more traction, then I'll wear Catula microspike running crampons. And other than that, just the food that's required. We need to have enough food for 48 hours on the trail. It's quite a bit of food. I'm expecting to rely mostly on normal ultra food like gels, chews, granola bars, that sort of thing. But I'll also be doing some soft wraps with peanut butter, jam, and Nutella. It seems to work pretty well in my stomach. I'll also be taking some nuts with me, like macadamia nuts are light and high in fat, so I'll use that. And even some cheese curds if I need a little bit more, something a little more substantial in my stomach. I find that works pretty well in the cold too, and it doesn't freeze. So lots of food, and we also need our first aid, a small first aid kit with just basic things, lighter, waterproof matches to start a fire, basically if we run into any problems. Also need to carry a saw with us too. So once again, if we need to start a fire, we can saw down twigs and get a fire going and stay warm until somebody comes out to help on the trail, if you need that. But hopefully that's not the case, but it's always good to have the extra gear along the way. That's essentially everything I'm going to be taking. I haven't weighed it, to be perfectly honest. I really don't want to know how heavy it is, but just trying to keep everything as light as possible. And looking forward to starting the race. Head out first thing tomorrow morning, and anxious just to get going.